Hello, and note the disclaimer. Also remember that my Patreon supporters got to see preview images, work in progress shots, and high resolution images of the completed figure. If you want to join them, all you gotta do is donate even the smallest amount. The link is in the description below. Hello out there, it's Waking Angel 2001 coming at you with the next part of ACReinhardt's commission. It is Manic the Hedgehog from the Sonic Underground cartoon. Now, this is the part of the video where I would make a nice long slideshow detailing the backstory and history of the character, but funnily enough, there's very little to him actually. In fact, when I went to Google image search him, there's almost no official art aside from a couple of screencaps from the show and the comic book from that Sonic Super Special he was in. Almost all the artwork I found on Google was fan art. Like, there was plenty of official pictures of Sonya for me to make a slideshow over, but Manic seems to be the character the franchise forgot, which is a shame. So the backstory of Manic is that when the triplets were all separated, he was left to be raised by a family in the slums. But he was stolen away from the doorstep and taken to Feral, the leader of the thief guild who lived in the slums. So he was the one sibling that was raised outside of a proper family. He basically grew up with the street toughs. Because of this, he's actually the most streetwise of the characters. He's highly mechanically inclined and quite sharp, and also a bit of a kleptomaniac. Sonic would often rebuke him for pickpocketing people. He also carries a fanny pack, which is kind of like a bag of holding or a little mini TARDIS strapped around his waist, because he can put pretty much anything in there. And amazingly enough, Manic has no superhuman abilities. Like, Sonic is famous for his speed, and Sonya had way above average superhuman strength in the show, but Manic had no such abilities. And it's not like they just forgot to give him them, because it became a point that he doesn't have any. However, to compensate for this, he does have the most powerful pendant weapon. His drum set could be used to summon earthquakes and even reflect lasers. It's possible that his weapon is the most powerful because it's stationary, whereas Sonic and Sonya's are handheld. So that might be the difference for the gap in power. But really, aside from his role in the show, not that he was a character that got shoved into the sidelines, because he did feature in his show quite prominently, but it seems that everyone seems to have just kind of forgotten about him, because I couldn't find any nice pictures to make a slideshow of all of his accomplishments. So yeah, the fans remember him more than any of the official media people do. So there's that. So without further ado, I guess we can just skip right ahead to making the figure. As his twin brother, that's what you call them, right? Like, if you're triplets, you can say that you have a twin brother and a twin sister. Is that how that works? I'm gonna go with it because it's easier to say. As his twin brother, Manic is of course going to be made from a Sonic figure, although I did have to cut the top spine off to accommodate the different shape of his top spine, as well as sculpting in a little bit of the hair that goes on top of the head. That it actually helps the figure balance a little bit, because since there isn't a huge big spine up there, it makes the figure slightly less back heavy. And then of course you need all of his crazy spiky punk hair. This is made out of craft foam. If I tried to sculpt that out of the epoxy, it would be extremely fragile and it would probably snap. That is, if I could even get it to hold in a shape, because it would likely slump and get all bent and stuff before it even had a chance to harden. So with that, and along with a few other minor details like his earrings, he's pretty much just painted. Like, this was the green hedgehog before we had Scourge. Yeah, like Sonya was the busty girl before we had Rouge. Manic was the green hedgehog before there was a Scourge. Because he's so radical and punkish, he has some spikes on his gloves, because that's cool, which are just little tiny sculpted bits, and then the glove cuffs are painted gray, and the bits are painted metallic silver. And then I swapped out the feet with a pair of Tails' shoes, because they match his pattern a little better, once you add some black stripes to the white part, of course. And I sculpted a little a little drum pendant to stick onto the chest. With this, he's just a paint job away, and a little vest, which is again made out of rubber. These rubber patches that you're supposed to be able to use to grip jar lids to make them easier to open. So yeah, it's the same kind of stuff that I used to make Sally's vests, except in red instead of, blue. And let's take a look at the completed Manic. And there he is. I do believe that this is the third time I've made a Manic figure. I do remember famously one time I made one for my manager when I was working at Toys R Us, specifically for his little kid, who, funnily enough, he wanted a Manic figure and Julie Sue. That was a weird pairing. Like, if you're going to get a Manic figure, why not team it up with a Sonya? Then again, I also had a Sonya without a Manic to go with it, but this is like the first time that I actually have a Manic and a Sonya made at the same time. And since there's actually an official Sonic figure you can stick them with, that means the trio is finally united. So yeah, that's fun and awesome, right? We got the whole Sonic Underground triplet thing going on there. Too bad I don't have that Queen Alina figure I made, because then I could have the whole Council of Four. Oh well, I'm always a day late and a dollar short with that kind of thing, aren't I? Okay, I hope you liked the video. This is Wake Angel 2001, and I'm signing off.